It's another day not in the shop. It's actually kind of late in the week here. The last video, you've seen a bunch of wrecker stuff. This week was not much different. We were slammed all week. We literally didn't have a chance to like get out of the trucks. It happens sometimes. I mean, we have busy weeks, slow weeks. It is what it is. But future plans and stuff, I'll talk about that here in a second. I did want to explain one thing though. The thumbnail for the last video. So what happened there, it's kind of a funny story. A buddy of ours, that was his dad's Jeep. He was driving it, his truck was down. Me and Ray showed up and it's like, you know what? Let's mess with him. So we hooked both wreckers to it, lifted it up in the air with the wheel lifts here, and that's when we took the picture and said, hey, this is what a real lifted Jeep looks like. Because just trash talking. But that was the whole thing with that. I forgot to explain that right quick because it was kind of funny. The look on his face when he walked outside was priceless. But that's aside the point. And you know who you are. I know you're subscribed. But anyway, moving on. So I believe the last thing we put up on there was more crawler stuff and 57 stuff to come along. We haven't done much on the crawler here lately. It's over at my place right now, and we've been focusing on other things and trying to work on the 57. Once again, wrecker stuff gets in the way. But some things we did get done. Go ahead and switch. Yoink. Got our washer fluid bottle in. It's all wired. Got the little hosey thing, goes up to the sprayers and whatnot. Got that in. Left just enough room for the starter solenoid. Come to this side. That's the coolant overflow tank. Got it mounted down there with some brackets and whatnot. It does have a hose that comes out the bottom over here somewhere. Yeah, there it comes out right there somewhere. Yep, that'll hook into the radiator, which I don't think this is the one we're going to use. I actually have one out of a 460 that'll fit right in here. We'll be using that, but that's in the near future. Biggest thing right now I got to worry about, because I want to do the rock sliders here very shortly. I can't exactly do the sliders with all this rot here. I'm going to go ahead and cut all this out, do the whole bodywork thing, fix that. It's about the same on the other side. So that's kind of what's coming down the pipeline in the future. The other thing we're probably going to start working on is the fuel tank for this thing. They don't make one in the shape that we need, so we're going to have to build one. Actually, I'm going to go get the steel for it Monday. Start working on that, start putting a sending unit together. Get the pumps in, because the thing is going to run dual fuel pumps. Basically the technology behind it should work. We're going to run in-tank pumps. The hose coming off the pumps to a check valve, a one-way valve. From there, it'll run into a splitter and then out the top of the tank. So that's kind of our game plan. And the theory is that when one pump's on, it's not backfeeding pressure through the other fuel pump and back down to the tank, thus losing pressure, because we are running a Holley Sniper. I think the minimum fuel pressure requirement is like 60 psi, so if it's bleeding anything back, that's kind of a bad day. Anyway, good. Pull this freaking thing back. Oh, that's gonna be a nightmare. Anyway, and so yep, there's our sniper system sitting on top of an RPM air gap Edelbrock intake. Of course, the tall Ford racing valve covers, because I do have a nice set of roller rockers in there. And I got to take that bracket off and paint it, but that's something we made to adapt all this to work. Yes, everything. I finally got the correct color of wire loom throughout this whole crazy thing. It all matches now, thank God. What's the other thing we're gonna do? Oh, distributor. I gotta go ahead and order one in. I'll probably do a DUI, Davis Unified Ignition, I believe is what it's called. I'm gonna draw. It's an HEI unit. I'll drop one of those in. It's what, a 2-wire hookup. Power and signal, which the Sniper kind of needs. But anyway, it's actually a wire. Yeah, it's already wired up for an HEI anyway. I already did all that. But the only reason that one's in there is just to plug the hole. Just that, literally the only reason that distributor's still in there. It's for the 351, and it's keeping stuff out of it. Was going to run AC on this truck. The way this bracketry system and everything works, it runs the power steering and the AC off the same belt on this particular model of engine. Not a big fan of that idea. It puts a lot of strain on one belt. That thing lets go, I lose power brakes, and I lose power steering. Which will be, or hydraulic steering, whichever way you want to put it. And the reason I say lose power brakes, that's a Hydro Boost. That mammal in particular is off of a, well, I say off of, it is, bloody hell. It is, the Hydro Boost units for a 90 to 90, no, 88 to 97 or something like that. F-Super Duty, which is basically an F450, which is basically that thing right there. I mean, that's a 12,500 pound truck. I think the tire size equate up like 35 or 34, something like that. But the Master is, as well as I should mention that the Master is for the same era, same truck. You know, the F-Super Duty has no problem stopping that mammal, loaded, unloaded, doesn't matter. It does pretty good. So we're going to use that, and it should be more than enough braking power for these modern ton axles. They're running dual piston calipers front and rear, same as those basically they're F450s, but basically same as those F-Super Duties. So it all should match there, because this engine has a pretty big cam in it. Not gonna have much vacuum. The vacuum booster is meant to move. Front disc, rear drum, it wouldn't have enough volume going to the rear. Yeah, see, it is being kind of a problem. But it is what it is. So that's how we rectified that situation. The next thing, we'll build the fuel tank, and that's going to mount directly to the rear cage. I got to run, the hoses and everything, which I haven't quite figured that out yet, because I got to keep everything away from the exhaust. These old Fords, anyone's ever had one, they tend to vapor lock. But anyway, I've actually had that happen to me, and it sucks. But yep. Another thing, while I'm sitting here, let's spin this thing around. We have this little gem. I think it's an 86. I know it's got stuff all over it right now. I think it's 86. Little Ranger. My girlfriend absolutely loves these trucks. And she's always wanted one with a lift. And well, she's always wanted one built correctly with a lift, 35-inch tires. We came across this one at a free 99 deal. A buddy of mine was getting rid of it, and the only condition was, and we intend to honor it is to be built and driven. I was like, you know what? I can deal with that. So the plan for this truck is going to be a 302, which actually was the original engine that came out of this crawler. Which, standard old 302, nothing special. But we're going to put a 302 in it. I think an M50D trans. I think I have a 205T case laying around somewhere, or 208, I can't remember. Yeah, the 208. I've got one laying around. This is not going to be an extreme crawler. They'll have off-road capabilities for sure. We'll do a 3-link front or 4-link front, and probably just going to do lift springs in the rear. Want to kind of keep its truck ability, so to speak. But more to the point, we're going to throw a set of tons under it and go from there. This is going to be kind of a fun build. It's a single cab, so, basically short bed. So it'll be a quick little thing if everything's done right. But, so that's kind of the general game plan for the future, what we're planning on doing and whatnot. And like I said, we really didn't have time this week to do any fab work whatsoever. We literally have been out in the trucks, and that's it. Matter of fact, towards the end of the week, like everyone we know had scrap that just needed to go. So we spent 3 days literally shuttling scrap back and forth to one of the local scrap yards, and that was that. Yeah. We've also, me and Ray have talked about the front bumper for this crawler is built. It's ready to go. We just got to paint it. We're talking about doing that. We do have a sandblast unit we got to essentially test out, see how it's going to do. We'll sandblast it, paint it, and then, you know, put our bed liner on it, the tenable bed liner. Same thing with the sliders, but in order to do the sliders first, I got to get those rockers repaired, or cab corners repaired, which I don't think they're that bad until I get into them. But yeah. So another thing we do plan on doing here shortly, we do want a winch on this crawler. Now, from experience, having a winch up front is cool. It's fine, it's dandy. It'll help you climb an obstacle. But what if you got to go backwards? I don't know if it's something anyone's ever thought about. So what do? Run your cable along all the sharp edges under the truck and hope to God you don't get tangled in a dry shaft and pull the truck backwards? Bad idea. Especially if you're using the synthetic rope. You catch a sharp edge and you cut the thing and now you're screwed. So, and even a steel cable, they don't like that stuff whatsoever. And God forbid you snag on a line or do something. It's just a bad idea. So we like the idea of cradle winches or removable winches. So I'll show you right quick because I'm standing next to one that we built years ago. Now keep in mind, we have used this thing on the trail before, but it's not exactly user-friendly. This thing weighs over 200 pounds. It's ridiculous, but it is industrial. I'll describe it here shortly. Let me go ahead and show you a video of it. So, it's kind of rough because it looks rough because it's been sitting outside. But that's 100 foot of cable. This is a Ramsey. It's a legit Ramsey. It's actually the same winch that's on my flatbed. It's just electrically driven by it looks like a giant starter motor. Get the big gear drive in there, which is all steel gears, which is heavy, very heavy. This all here is 3/8 thick. These here I'll explain in just a second. And of course you got the receiver stock for the pin and blah blah blah. That's control box, has the relays in it. We actually took an electrical box. Neutral, that's like winch in, press the button, winch out, press the button. That's how that works. Keep a little pin in it. But anyway, we get a attachment point that's welded all the way around, triple layer I believe. You know, you put a snatch block, come right back to it. These chain pockets here, what we've done with those, the reason we put those in there is very simply, and we've used them before, it's great. If you have some chain with you, you don't have a receiver hitch in the back of your vehicle, you can just hang some chain through those pockets, you know, make sure they're pretty much equal length. Hook up to a battery, and then go ahead and pull yourself out. But like I said, that's not really good for trail use. Like we've done before, it's about 200 pounds. Yes, I can lift it myself and put it in. I about need to go see a chiropractor the next day, though. It's absolutely ridiculous. So, yeah, I'm just putting the cover back on the engine real quick. Keep the water out of it. Oops, sorry. Try to keep the water out of the engine here. Throw the cover back on. Ah, come on, goofy thing. I'll put you down for a second. Steer the hood. Hop it over. There we go. So, that's what we got coming in the future. I know all I've done here is ramble. But that's, you know, like I said, we haven't had a chance to do anything. And once you get them on the headset, because it records audio a little better, it's a little clearer, noise canceling, you know, catch the birds, hopefully, and everything else around here. But yeah, so we'll probably actually go out and buy a Badland winch and do a cradle similar. Obviously a lot lighter, because, like I said, that's a two-man carry, realistically. Strong, it's very strong, though. But yeah, so I'm going to end it here. I'm going to head on in. Probably do some editing. Probably going to edit this video, most likely. But that's what you're coming down the pipeline in the future. The 57, I'm not 100% sure what we're going with that yet. We do have another engine for it. The other one it was bad. So, unfortunately, had to go get a new one. But it is what it is. Yeah. But anyway, appreciate you watching. We will definitely have some more progress videos very shortly, hopefully for next week. Like I said, we try to do one a week. This week, all you got is me just running my mouth. So, sorry about that. But anyway, appreciate y'all watching. Until next week.